I think that there's going to be it'll be like a crescendo where we're here with people just the divide, and it's going to keep getting worse, and then it'll have its peak.
Okay.
And then it'll go down, but going up to getting to the peak, I think what will happen is that more people will be incarcerated. I hate to say that, but I think that they're trying to do things.
So when you say
fashion,
when you say the divide, and you talk about,
I'm talking about people that overtly just listen. Elimination of DEI.
Yeah,
I just it's going to be harder
for people like us.
yes.
Okay, which in turn is going to drive some other things, some negative impact.
That's correct. So I do believe that there'll be more Black billionaires. I don't think it's going to come easy, but it's going to happen. And I deeply think that divide is going to widen, where there will be people that will be unfortunately swept up with the nonsense. Welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Auntie's podcast,
where we keep it raw, real, and relatable
while sharing our opinions and experiences
and thoughts.
Yes.
And feelings, like Joe always say. So join in on the conversation, folks.
Join in. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about what our predictions are about 20 years from now. But we predict. We don't have a crystal ball, folks. But there are some things that are coming along, and maybe the conspiracy theorists and myself, I don't know, that you guys will hear, that I just have a couple of predictions as long as my fellow co-hosts.
Yeah, I had to do a little research behind this because I'm not, well, if we're talking technology wise, I'm not a big techie, but yeah, you can talk about any and everything, you know.
So who wants to jump in and talk about what their predictions are for the world, for anything, 20 years from 2025? So we're talking about 2045.
I think this is coming sooner than 20 years.
Yeah.
For now, where we don't even need to carry a wallet around. And probably anything. I feel like everything's going to be on your phone. There's some places already exist where your driver's license is on your phone. It's going to be your driver's license, your passport. We already have our ATM cards, and car insurance, all that stuff. So this is happening relatively soon, where you just walk around with your phone. Don't lose it. Damn it. Don't lose it now.
Yeah, you're right. You should, because too much that can be on there.
Yeah. So but 20 years from now, who knows? I don't know. I don't have
the Jetsons.
The Jetsons is already here.
No, it's not.
Pretty much close. We're not too far off.
No, all they had a flying car. They had a flying car.
Did they not have a flying car? I think they had a flying car.
Where we see
look it up. I thought they had a flying car.
It's not to the point where people are actually using it. It's just still in the promo stage.
Process. Well, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Sooner than 20 years.
Not where they eliminate cars on the ground altogether.
Also,
the Jetsons 20 years from now.
I think that's coming sooner than 20 years, girl. But go ahead. Oh, maybe I could be wrong, but it's coming.
So according to ChatGPT, as of February 2025, the concept of flying cars has transitioned from science fiction to reality, with several companies achieving significant milestones in developing electrical vertical takeoff and landing called eVTOL.
Okay.
Vehicles designed for both road driving and aerial travel.
Okay.
So there's a California-based company that does it. There's something specialized in an air taxi called Job Aviation. So Xpeng, and I know them, I said.
When are they saying it's coming out?
Don't know whether it be, I don't know. They said deliveries expected in 2026. But you can bet your bottom dollar is that definitely be 14 years.
I know they already have the self-driving cars in California. I know a few.
They have a couple of sales.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really thought that far in the future outside of, I know there's going to be greater job loss in terms of like human beings.
Yeah.
Actually performing certain tasks. So listen, there's one store I went into, they had the self-checkouts today, right? You're scanning your individual items. This one store I went into, you put your whole bag in the thing, it scans and rings up everything. You don't have to scan individual things.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
What is that? X-ray?
I guess so. I was like, okay.
And where is this at?
This was I think the thing was in also it's an Asian type store, a clothing store. Can't remember the name.
The one with is red background, white
background, red letters.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I know the name. I know the store you're talking about. I can't think of it right now.
Yes, you and my
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So there was a store that I went to where I was able to put the whole bag of everything that I was purchasing. Okay. Inside this looked like a little bucket thing, and it rang up everything for me. Told me my total price was, and I paid for it and walked out the store.
Wow.
Listen, and it's interesting because you just said there was a Chinese company, and
I don't know if it's Chinese. I know it's Asian, whatever.
yeah, I think they are Chinese.
I don't know. I don't know,
But they lead the charge when it comes to technology.
Right.
So
Yep.
you can't. It's not even debatable.
I know, right?
So a lot of the technology that we get here in the States, it's 9 times out of 10. Well, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of times it comes from what they've already been doing for years. So I thought about when I was thinking about this topic is that I think we'll have more black billionaires in 20 years from now than we do now. And
Why you say that?
because there's more education that is happening and being funneled to us where we can make better choices financially.
Okay.
And it's because we're getting credit for our creations, actually, which as well. Because think about it, we should have had a lot more, in my mind, of us financially or billionaires because of the things that we created. But I don't feel like we got credit.
I agree. But what I guess where I'm going with it is like because of social media and because of different podcasts, and I'm highlighting sometimes people like to talk negatively about podcasts, but there are certain podcasts. There's podcasts for everything that you want to talk about. Right. That there are certain that are financially focused and more education around it. And I think there's more youth and other people that are tapping into those and listening. And then not only just listening, but doing their own due diligence and then taking action and creating the lives that they want. And I don't think they get highlighted enough. And some people do want to go under the radar. So when I did some more research, I knew that they were only currently 22, and I had put a note to fact check it myself. But there are 22 currently right now that we don't even hear about. So I of course went to ChatGPT
I heard of the 22 before.
So I only got a couple, it looks like that it late, but this person called Aliko Dangote, who's a Nigerian business. And we have David Stewart, who's an American entrepreneur.
Nice.
He's the founder and chairman of Worldwide Technology.
Nice.
And then we have Robert F. Smith, who I knew about. He's the founder of Vista Equity Partners, private equity firm, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan, Rihanna. We know we can add Jay-Z. He's a millionaire.
Yeah.
Know that there's a couple of others. I don't know if there's the guy who created Calendly. I'm not sure if he's a billionaire yet.
Okay.
Probably could look it up, but he's definitely a millionaire. So there's more, and there's so many more people that go under the radar,
Right.
that don't want to be known, right?
Yeah.
And they just do what they need to do, and I think we'll have more of that because it's contrary to what media likes to put out about black people. There are some of us that are doing very well.
Yes.
And we weren't born into privilege, right? So there are some of us that really had to work hard to get to where we're at. So I think there'll be more of that. On the flip side, unfortunately, I think that there would be, because of the state of America and where we're at right now and the divide, and it's just more prevalent. What will happen is that more people will be incarcerated. I hate to say that, but I think that they're trying to do things.
So when you say
fashion,
when you say the divide, and you talk about,
I'm talking about people that overtly just elimination of DEI. I just it's going to be harder
for people like us. Okay. Which in turn is going to drive some other things, some negative impact.
That's correct. So I do believe that there'll be more black billionaires. I don't think it's going to come easy, but it's going to happen. And I deeply think that divide is going to widen, where there will be people that will be unfortunately swept up with the nonsense.
I agree. Or, the homelessness. So today talk about the lower class, middle class, and upper class. I've never felt that there was 3 classes. I've always felt there was just 2.
Which are poor and rich.
How you define that, whatever. So
I think that's the part that's going to get extremely worse.
The chasm's going to widen.
Yes.
I do think that one point there might have been a middle class.
Yeah, but I think every time you get to that point, something gets taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So
listen, many of us are maybe 10 checks away from a calamity.
Right.
What?
I'm not disagreeing with you. Trust and believe.
10 check. Away from something bad happening, and you're like
not being able to figure it out, right? Yeah.
So, and those are the same people that one probably would deem as middle class.
Right. Yeah.
So
I agree. That makes sense.
I do believe that, listen, what's going on right now in America, I think there's going to be this is why I say more black billionaires too, but I think there's going to be, when you have situations like this historically, if we do the research, and you guys, I implore you to do the research historically, when you have situations like this, there are people that make a shit ton of money. Okay. And either you're going to be on the right side of that or the opposite side of that. So the choice is really yours. And I know, again, people beat the drum. Capitalism listen, we live in a capitalistic society. There's no getting around that. I think what the administration is now trying to do is trying to widen that chasm between the rich and the poor to make it more equal, taking
either you're there or you're here. And
yeah.
But the flip side to that is, I don't think by them trying to take it away, I think there's going to be a revolution. I really think that.
Hope so.
Yes, I truly believe that we're not going to sit back and take it how it was taken back then. And that's going to really be the determining factor of how our people as a race moves forward.
Yeah, I hope
that,
so.
Yeah, I hope with what's happening now, it brings us together. Because we haven't been able to do that for a very long time. Even with everybody making the excuse, so this is what they did to us back then. No.
Well, I mean, I think that's the biggest problem. Like you keep talking about back then.
It needs to be talking about what's happening. Yeah.
Right. What happened back then is what happened. But I'm not saying dismiss it or diminish it or whatever. But if you want to see change, you have to make change. And you keep holding on to that and trying to move forward. I feel like those are the things you're allowing to hold you back.
Exactly.
For some, it's the mindset. Like, acknowledge what happened, learn from it, so that we don't have a repeat. And I also think there's some. So I would love for it to be a revolution. I'm not saying that it's not. I just think that in order for us to get to that peak, there's going to be a lot of back and forth, because right now, collectively, we're not one collective.
We're not.
Right, as people,
it's sad.
We're not. And then now, even more, we have more people that are erring on the side of the wrong side.
They're making their choices, and they're making their choices very obvious and very known.
When without doing the research and understanding what's really happening, and listening to sound bites and figuring, that you heard this from your friend
for selfish reasons. What they envision or perceiving this thing to be. Thinking it's going to be better for them. And not realizing that it very well, it's not going to be. Because again, at the end of the day, this is who you are, right? So knowing who you are and the things that are against you just because of that. So about the DE and I. So those are the things you need to be thinking about. What's being taken away.
And not, because then people I don't think everybody fully understood what DEI really was, right? But now we're here. So I think that it's going to take it's going to be it's going to get worse before it gets better.
But that's what most things, right? In life,
weather the storm.
That's most things in life. Things are worse before they get better. And like you say, weather the storm. Hopefully we're here to see the other side of it and reap the good benefit. What turns out to be good, because you got to go through the mucky, ugly stuff first.
Do you have a contingency plan in terms of, now that you know what's going to be happening?
None of us know.
We don't know.
Predicting.
We're predicting.
We don't know anything.
So in the event, depending on what you're predicting, do you have a contingency plan?
I mean, it's interesting. My plan differs. It shifts, right? Because you can never, there's that saying, when you tell God your plan, he laughs at you, because he's gonna, ultimately, you never know what can happen. I think that the more one can be agile, and even from the workforce perspective, learn different skill sets to make sure that if you want to still do that 9 to 5, that it's viable for you. Because there'll be less jobs, there's going to be more layoffs. But I also think and this is me, my conspiracy theorist piece, right? Because I think that the layoffs and stuff like that, I mentioned before off the podcast, but I'll say it here, like the pendulum always swings. So a couple of years ago, it was an employee's market where you can go out there and you can get these jobs making an exorbitant amount of money by your standards, whether you wanted to go in an office or not. You had the flexibility. And now we're seeing that it's swinging to the next, where it's an employer's market, where they can dictate what the salary would be and where you're going to work and how you're going to work and all that stuff. This has always been It's nothing new. The only thing that changes is the dynamics of what the pieces that you want to pull in, whether it's the remote work and stuff like that. But there's always been an employee's market, then it swings to employer's market. It's the same thing with real estate. It's a buyer's market, then it's a seller's market, right? So I think it's going to be more layoffs. And I think some of that is by design for some. I think that, listen, I think there's other forces at play that feel that we as people, not just Black people, like people have had it too much say, too much going on, too much what we want. And I think there's people that want to be able to pull the strings like we're puppets and do, so I think there's some of that. Hence why they're removing certain things in school where you can't learn. Like they're really making it so that they want to feed you what
they want to feed you.
Exactly. So in terms of contingency plan, I think it behooves us to always get the research, do the research yourself, seek to understand the reason why. If someone's telling you, I always say this, if someone's saying, look over here, you need to be wondering why I can't look over there.
Right.
You want me to be right here? What am I missing?
Over there.
So, and we're sheep, unfortunately. So when they say, look over here, meaning the media, look over here, look what's going on. And we like flock to that. We start talking about it and doing this and all of that. Meanwhile, they're doing their dance over here. And then we don't even know the rug got pulled from us.
Right.
So I'm hoping that a prediction will be that there'll be more of us that will wake up and understand that some of the media plays into all of that.
Yeah.
Another thing I was saying, don't laugh, but I do feel like there's going to be people that are going to have chips in their head.
Yeah.
To program them.
Yeah. I think I had that question off.
Yeah.
I think it's here. I think it's right now.
I think I had that question on here. Do you think that we're gonna have chips in our body?
Absolutely, and definitely within time. Yes, absolutely. We've got companies like Neuralink.
Oh yeah, it says, will we still use smartphones or will tech be implanted in us?
I think tech will be implanted, and I think
we're unwillingly.
That's what I was gonna go with. I think initially, a lot of things they test out things, right, to see whether people will buy into it. So I think there'll be some that'll be like, oh sure, this is convenience. I don't even have to have a phone. I can just talk. The shit is under my wrist. Hey ma, how you doing? Or she could see all of that, right? And I think there'll be people like, hell no. And then it'll get to the point where you want to work at a job. Think about COVID and the vaccine. I'm just saying, you see what happened. You want to get this job? Show me that you got that vaccine. I think we will get to a point where it will be like, you want this, and they will mandate the job. So now you have to have it. So now there's no
the legal stuff will be handled at that, because it was a lot of legal stuff happening when they tried to do that, and they had to retract that and take that back. That didn't have to be. It didn't have to be a requirement for you to have.
Right.
At first it did, then it did.
That's correct.
Because all the legal stuff was not taken care of.
That's going to be thrown out.
That's going to be taken care of. Where we can make this demand of you. And if you want this job, you're going to have to abide by it or else. And it's going to be, some people are going to be acting out of desperation. I need this job.
So I'm going to get this implant.
Right.
And they're going to know when you get to work, it's going to be so much. They'll know when you have idle time. Your mind is not even focused on the job task at hand. And now they'll know, your supervisor will know what's the productivity of these,
How's that going to impact the woman with menopause or brain fog?
Shall we fucked up shit?
What? So they get brain fog, so they're going to find them because they can't think for 30 seconds?
We're screwed. Barbara, what's wrong with you, Barbara? You got brain fog, Barbara, the hot sweat.
How deep with our predictions are we trying to go? Because all your predictions have been around technology and work.
Because that's the billionaire piece, but yeah.
So now, what are your thoughts on how do you think us as a people, where our place is going to be considering what they're trying to do?
I thought it was going to be feast and famine again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah. And implanting chips against our will to control us.
Listen, they already got us divided now. They're just going to continue to
do it. Yes.
Dividing us as much as they can. And if we don't unite and stand together, specifically talking about us,
rich against the poor.
No.
Yeah. And then it's some of that, but it's not all that.
No, it's not all that because we don't have. I mean, we already have division already today.
Oh, yeah.
Rich or not, whatever. But when you think about us as our people, like we think about the whole thing with when they started doing the DEI stuff, right? And they were talking about all the black businesses that are in these different places, and we're gonna boycott, and we're not gonna go shop at those places, and not understanding the impact it was gonna have on those black businesses by boycotting. Like it's like instead of boycotting the specific place, be mindful in shopping so we can stay together and support each other in that way. People who are like, oh, we're just gonna not shop at these places and not thinking mindfully of how it's going to impact our people in that way.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree with you on that. And the biggest issue I have with that is because you have people that are saying that they're just wanting, being the business owners, they just want you to keep shopping with them to put the money in their pockets. And I disagree with that because that's not the case. Like, I think a lot of it comes to the lack of education that we have. Two things: the lack of education we have around business as a whole as in people, right? And then two, our mindset and thinking that we have to rely on historical ways and traditions to revolt. So boycotting, protesting, all the things that our ancestors did to revolt, right? And I'm not saying
you can do it differently.
We got to do it differently. It's different now.
Right.
We can. So a lot of times we have this one size fits all approach in terms of how we should revolt, and do all those things. And I'm not saying those things don't work, because they do work in certain instances. But with the example that you just gave, with we all heard with the Target and the Walmart and this and that, and them rolling back DEI and people. The reality is it takes a lot for those businesses to get into those big box stores. Now then, the argument is, oh, well, why can't we own big box stores? Well, we got to get there first. You know, so that ain't gonna happen overnight. Oh, well, why can't we got these billionaires like they mentioned? But we can't. The accountability can't always be on them, right? So unfortunately,
I mean, it goes back to, again, because the dollar does speak. I'm not saying the dollar doesn't speak, but you talk about that, but yet and still you're spending your dollars elsewhere. Now, some of it you can't control it because you need some of these services, right? So we look at some of these. They talk about all the companies and stuff that supported this current administration, right? But some of these companies you have to use because they provide a service that you need, you know, for certain things. But where you have control, then use your control in that way. But you want to see people out there, they spending their money on, you know, Ralph Lauren and Polo and all that stuff with no goddamn problem. When they don't have the same things that our people are fighting for. And they're not even making that stuff here, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff.
And the other thing too is, like, we can't pick and choose where you can, if you got free will, pick and choose where you want to boycott, right? But the same people that are saying boycott these businesses are doing it on, you know, social media platforms that either contributed to.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You're using it, some of the thing, or roll back DEI as well. So, and you know, we have to be, I just think that the fight has to be different this time around. And even in an example like we were just talking about, we are so divided. And I think a lot of it has to do with the educational piece. A lot of it has to do with the emotional piece, where people, yes, you get pissed off, you're angry, but when that's out of emotion, you make poor choices. And I also think that they're doing these things to, again, that's a ploy. Conspiracy theorists, that's a ploy to take those black businesses that actually were trying to just get something, and they know we're divided. So when we don't spend our money with them and buy in those stores, because 9 times they
probably don't want to shop it. That could be the other reason. They don't shop. Some of it be,
and some of them clearly tell you they don't want you shopping in their stuff. Some in their stores.
You know, that's 100. I'm just throwing that out there, but these specific stores that we talk about, I don't know if that's 100% true, because they employ us too. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, for cheap labor, and it's probably going to get to a point where they're going to have us coming in there free.
We're going to be the only ones in there employed, right?
Well, because now here's the other thing, because now with them, you know, getting rid of the cheaper labor. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
So who's going to do it?
Right.
So I think going back to the predictions, like I said, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think this is just a prime opportune time for people to really buckle down and be careful where you spend your money. Stop spending your money on nonsense. And I think if you do have a job, I think this is now time more than ever to diversify your income. Because if you rely on one job for anything, it could be taken away from you like that. And then now what are you gonna do? So yeah, I think the future, I think within the next 5 years is gonna be a bit grim, and then we might be hopefully by then at the crescendo piece.
So with AI and technology replacing a lot of different jobs and services that people provide, what would be off limits of, like, would you go get your eyebrows or your nails done by a robot? I know I'm not gonna let no doctor or robot touch me as a meditate. I ain't there yet with that. Even though there are tools out there that are really more automated in the medical field than it was before.
That's when they do the surgery now.
Right, there's all those eyes robotics, but we don't know that we sleep anyways.
I'm assuming they have to tell you that a robot is performing.
No, they don't. I ain't nobody tell me no procedure that I had. I was late.
Or maybe it could be in the fine print that we ain't sign this paper, sign this waiver. You just be all fucked up. Oh, okay, because you dying. You want to get fixed whatever's wrong. You outside, and next thing you know, they got their body in it.
But would you let a robotics technician do your eyebrows, nails, manicure, pedicure, makeup?
Okay, so
I would clearly do all that myself before having a robot do it.
No, hang on now. So my eyebrows, because that's my face, no. Because all I need that thing is to malfunction. Next thing you know, your microblading is all on your forehead. You messed up. The big unibrow. They done gave me a damn unibrow. My nails, I don't know.
If that damn robot cut you, then what? You ain't got nobody to sue.
I smack.
Absolutely terrible.
But they would make it human-like. They would never do it, so, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, because I'm for AI. I'm all for technology and progression, but I'm not for chips in the body. It's weird. Like I'm for certain things, and there's other things that are like, that's a little bit too much.
When you think about it, they're following us enough as is, right? Do you really need to put something in me to follow me even more? You already know what I'm thinking about, because the minute I talk about this, I'm going to go to my phone. Everything's going to pop up on my phone about this. We went to a class. Joe and I went to a class.
Okay.
And they pitched this service to us at the end of this class. And that's all the advertisement I've seen now, ever since I went to that class. I never said anything about this.
The phone heard it.
But the phone heard it. All the advertisement has been coming to me about this service that they were trying to provide.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you need to put a chip in me? You following me enough?
No, but I think we're getting to, have either of you ever saw the Minority Report? That movie?
Yes.
Okay. I think we could potentially, now I don't know if it's going to happen within the next 20 years, but with the chip and everything like that, I think we get to the point if whoever's at the helm of this wants to have a society where you eliminate crime, you keep people at that level that you want. This could be something where
separate people, you mean?
Yes, because what happens, like in the Minority Report, they knew when the person was going to do the crime, so they preempted it by going in and grabbing them. And the person didn't even do the crime yet, right? So, but in order to do that, it had to be the chips and all that.
That would be good for some people who think in certain things, like, we don't want to unalive themselves.
Well, unalive, rape, pedophilia, and in those instances.
This goes back to me saying that they plan on, I think so, at some point, making us with the chips. They're going to poison us or force us to get them without us even knowing that they put in us.
I'm not getting no more surgeries if I don't have to. That's
awesome way to give
so let me just food. It could be in the food.
So they can control every little part about your life.
Every surgery I had was not no elective surgery. It was because I needed it. But they could do it when you knocked out.
They could do it when you're under. You won't know. It could be in the food.
Yeah.
Underestimate what they got going on. The GMOs and all this stuff.
Yep.
I saw I'm growing my own food. I'm telling y'all. No, I started. I'm not playing.
No.
I'm probably not going to have no, I'm going to be vegetarian because I ain't going to have no animals. I'm not having no chickens and all that stuff. No pigs and all that stuff. So it's just
backyard. You can have.
I can have a chicken coop and all that, but I'm not doing that. I don't want the full homestead. Man.
So you don't want to farm?
I don't want to farm. I just lie. It's a lot. It's a lot. You gonna come help me?
At some point, shit.
That's fine. No, you're trying to start now. I just want to start now.
Start selling food to people that I don't think it's the same thing we are.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. I think and they'll probably would charge because of that. They know, like, they want to control things.
I just gotta watch the dirt too that they sell. That's the other thing.
You gotta watch you gotta watch so much so. And listen, I like I said, it'll get worse before it gets better.
Yep.
And I think we have to really buckle up. And I'm just a big believer in multiple streams of income, because there's a sense of freedom when you don't have to rely on what's the other saying? You always have a quote. There's a quote that says, be careful who you get your food for. This is, think of it in conceptually, right?
Okay.
The person that feeds you can starve you.
Absolutely.
The person that feeds you.
So it's saying the person that's employing you today can fire you tomorrow. That's the person that's doing this can take whatever they can.
So you gotta figure out a way to get your own food.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You don't rely on that one person, because if they feed you,
You gotta have another outlet. You have to have a way to
Provided that they can't interfere with that neither.
But I think that
That's why she says multiple. So you gotta multiple. You gotta and you keep adding as you go and diversify your portfolio, your financial
I agree.
portfolio.
And I hate that this is such a dismal podcast. I don't feel like it's dismal. I just say there's be more black billionaires.
I don't feel like it's dismal. I just feel like it's something that we're thinking about, and I don't know if a lot of people are. So we know where we're at right now,
Yeah.
for the most part, and we don't know what's going to happen in the coming days. Things are keep continuously progressing as decisions are being made, and what those decisions are going to mean for us as they continue to happen. But I think I don't want to say it's dismal. I just want to say maybe we're informing, and maybe we're giving people an opportunity to think differently and start to do the research that we're starting to do ourselves. Because we don't know everything ourselves right here today, right now. We just know some of the things that we research for this specific topic, and some of the things we probably been following, over time. But I'm just saying, I don't feel like it's dismal. I just feel like, listen, people, go out and educate yourselves, learn, get some additional resources of income.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Don't be 10 checks away from what? What'd you say?
Calamity. Just take one thing and you're done. So try not to get yourself in. And a lot of us are.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much we think we got a leg up. The saying used to be you're 1 check away. Now I'm saying you could be 10 checks away, right? And that's still 10 could be, it depends what your barometer is, the lowest level for you, So listen, go out there, do the research. Let's be smart. We have to be very, move with a sense of agility in these next up and coming years. And we cannot rely on anyone to save us but us.
I do have one more question.
Go for it.
In this, life on other planets. Do you think we're heading in that direction?
Well, I mean, Elon, they already did the trip, right? There could
supposedly,
and I believe he goes. They did it. I believe that. He's out there, So I personally think he got a chip in his head. And no, I'm serious, because he owns the company. Why not test it on himself?
True,
right?
Because he tested on other people. You don't test your ass off that you tested on other people.
Well, but he's watching. I think he can. Yeah. I think the president guy. I mean, don't take this down, but he might, and he could glitch. Listen, I'm telling you, I got conspiracy. He's like, I'm just saying, like, he's like, everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. So,
because it's probably not even really him. It's a damn robot.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is, how do we fucking get on this? No, the planets. Yeah. Yes. So I think that already there could be life. I'm personally not interested. Listen, real talk.
Okay.
The other night there was a thing in the sky, and I'm looking outside my window, and I said to Rich, I said, "Get over there. What is that?" I said, because my eyes ain't good. I said, "Is that ain't no plane, because it's just hovering. It's all the way up there." He was like, "That's just a star." I said, "What? We've been here 30 years. That's a star? What kind of snow?"
Last time you seen stars in the sky. How about that?
So how about we living in the paradise? Are we already messed up? My imagination. My imagination is really bad, guys. You should know this if you're paying attention. What? No.
When did last time? I've seen stars in the sky, but not here on the East Coast.
Yeah, I don't see it as much here.
But when we was kids, we used to look at the star all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, are we in an assimilation? Do we take?
We ain't get there yet. That pill or the blue pill? Which one? I don't think we're there yet, but
are you? Are we sure? How do you know?
God damn it.
On that note,
leave it to her.
You can't do this because I think very crazily.
Crazily?
Crazily.
Crazily.
We We're gonna be living in the world. Was it Paradise? How does this one go? The song from the movie right now. We watching the show. You watch right now. Paradise.
Yeah, what song?
The song they keep playing on the goddamn show.
I know, but it's an Paradise.
I didn't watch it.
Whatever. I can't think of it.
You know, I was like, I don't be like in thrills.
Living in a the song that they playing in the daggone.
That's serious. I don't know.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Living in America.
Got to.
Okay.
Thank you.
They have definitely gone off the deep end.
I'm trying to know, but this whatever song it is, it's a modern song.
It's not modern. It's an old remake.
Sorry, that's what I meant. They modernize. Yes, that was what I meant to say. They take a remake and do it.
Now, if y'all haven't watched the show Paradise, check it out because I think it's really telling of where we're headed. Okay.
Listen, I thought that was a Martian thing up there in that sky.
I think we're headed towards Handmaid's Tale. If you haven't watched that, watch that too.
It's either that or Paradise. One of the two. I'm leaning more towards Paradise. Right.
Let me tell you, that Handmaid's Tale would be a revolution. They don't want peace. I can't, but y'all nothing.
Well, think about it. If we're going to go to Paradise, they're not going to need Handmaid's Tale because they're only going to pick the people that can have children to go to Paradise.
Yeah,
so we may not need Handmaid's Tale. No. You got to watch the show.
Okay.
It's not our show.
Well, listen, guys.
Us in our predictions, wacky or not, real or not, shit is changing.
Yes.
And let's be ready. I'm going to grow my own food.
Grow your food.
Yeah.
I started already, actually.
I would love to. And it's just my dogs I just got to figure out. What is it? I know. All right.
Cheers, everybody.